The whole thing started several years ago in Goa when I was attending a thing called a Think Fest. It was a funny old festival that was about inventors, artists, musicians, writers all coming together in one place to talk about art and creativity. And I was there just as an audience member listening to all these amazing stories, and one particular day a guy got up on the stage. He was very well dressed, suit, a very erudite, articulate English accent. He was Pakistani, and he started telling a story about the day that he was arrested in Egypt because he was a terrorist. He was caught at the airport and he was imprisoned for 5 years where he was beaten and tortured, and he came out completely rehabilitated. And I thought, wow, well, that's a hell of a story. And so that gave me the idea for this whole thing, the idea that if you're a terrorist, can you actually ever be truly rehabilitated?
We're going to do the show of the girls walking up?
Yeah. The team came together quite quickly. Olivia Gain and Adam Kirk came on board, and we started talking about the process of putting the whole thing together. What we wanted to do with the short film was to create something that was compelling, that was entertaining, energetic, and also something that was going to be reflective of the feature film itself. Now the girls need to see me. Day one was a restaurant explosion scene. This was a day with incredible challenges because we were filming it in Vernon Terrace in Tenerife in the street. Feeling of foreboding, it's like normally when you're filming there, this causes all sorts of problems with pedestrians and all sorts of people. I mean, we had 25, 30 crew, we had several actors.
No time for a kiss.
And we'll shoot that in slow-mo, mate.
Francis?
Maybe 120 frames?
Francis?
We sort of took over part of an area that was actually some restaurants and cafes, but luckily their leases had run out and it was empty. So we created our unit space in front of these restaurants so that we had the opportunity to be close to the action. But because this was the first day, it was really difficult because people were still finding their feet. We were trying to work as a team. The team had never really worked before together. And we were doing something very tricky in the van with our two main actors who were about to blow up a restaurant. Tell me when you're set.
Yes, Liv.
Liv?
I think this film is quite contemporary with its socio-political thematic context, and I think that's going to be really prevalent when we're going ahead to market and trying to sell the feature film.
Do it now!
I think that racism is an issue that unfortunately hasn't gone away yet, and we're all very aware of it now. So I think it's going to be an easy viewing for an audience who really understand what's going on here, which is why it's not only for Islamic audiences but also Western audiences. I think it's one of those special films where everyone can get something really meaningful out of it.
Set up for his car.
But I think we just need to do that because that is more important. I was in Mumbai with Sheikh Amani, my business partner, and we were seeing investors about other projects and trying to get money for other things. And we had a breakfast meeting, and we rolled up to this breakfast meeting and we trotted out all our pitch decks and things, and one of the guys said, "Oh, have you got anything else?" And in the taxi on the way to breakfast, I had been writing down some kind of a sort of synopsis for this idea about the terrorist being rehabilitated. And so I pulled out this bit of paper and I read what I'd written, and they went, "That's very good."
Just letting you know we close in 5.
That weekend I just sat at a typewriter and I just went and I had no time to go back on the story. I kept inventing whatever I thought the story would be, and I got to 15 pages. So the next day we were on a plane to Amritsar, which is up in northern India, and I was sitting with the famous Rafat Khan reciting this narration to him, and that's how it all started. So then I went away and started writing the script, and that was really the genesis and the process of how the story came about. Day 2 were all the scenes in the Indian grocery store. Now, when we went in initially, we said we're just going to use one corner of the back of the store. And they said, yes, no problem, no problem.
This will run from about 9:15 to 10:45. We're going to have a quick morning tea, 10:45 till 11. Then we're going to run through scene 12A. Scene 12 is about a 5-hour scene, so I've separated that up. From about 11 till 12:30, and then we're going to have our lunch. So with lunch today, Lily and Ramen have kindly offered to take everybody's orders, including accounting for your dietary requirements, with Mirch Masala upstairs. So they're an Indian restaurant. We're all going to be having lunch on them today as part of the production. So we'll be sitting exactly where we did yesterday.
You're awesome!
Yeah, they are great. So, yeah, everyone did really, really well yesterday. Just like keeping up the energy today, and I think we'll all be fine. Should be sweet. So thank you, much love.
On the day we rolled up, we did go to the corner of the store, but we ended up taking up the whole store, overtaking the whole store, and a whole area at the back where we set up our unit. And it was like we were, nobody was stopping us from doing this. And we just, you know, when you're making a film, you don't kind of think about all that sort of stuff, but no one came and complained. We turned all their lights off, we turned their music off. We just did what we had to do to get all the amazing things that we did. I was recommended to Brendan Williams by Penny Wall, who's one of our executive producers. She recommended Brendan as being somebody who was extraordinary and who would, for this type of action thriller, psychological attack on the senses, would be ideal to create the mood and the atmosphere that would be required at this level. So I met with Brendan, we had a chat, and within minutes we had bonded, and within minutes I realised I was in the presence of a master.
Hi, camera.
So, hey guys, can I please have actors in position when they're ready?
Oh my god, now put it up here.
I think you're just doing it there, mate. Basically.
Putting up here.
Or yeah, putting up the top, perhaps.
Alright,
Yeah.
Going to be putting up there. Okay.
All right, standing by for rehearsal
Keep busy.
and block through. Here we go, and action. We were amazingly lucky because the people who own the store and the people who were working in the grocery store were just so kind and generous and unbelievably forgiving.
Do you just pick up his face, get him a bit more excited at the end there, just reading the book?
Now, day 3 was always going to be an extraordinary challenge because of the location, which consists of these amazing tunnels that go for about 80 metres or 100 metres.
No. And you see, they're making me do all the work.
Our actors were going to have to run, not only through the tunnels, they were going to have to run down slopes, over fences, down concrete walls, through drains, through tunnels, and then there was this huge fight sequence at the end. Now this was a humongous day, and it was not only physically challenging for the actors, but it was also emotionally draining, because our 3 Indian boys are being chased by 3 white thugs, and they're going to kill them, and they're basically chasing them, you know, to kill them. So our 3 Indian boys are running for their lives. They ran all day for their lives.
So I think we're right to start shooting with the brothers first, and the thugs can come up afterwards.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll let make up know that.
And at the end of the day, you can imagine how exhausted they were.
I'll turn it on for you.
G'day, I'm Rich.
I'm Josh.
I'm with the sound team on The Wrong Man. Like everyone here, it's just relaxed, it's nice, we're getting some good sound, dialogue's all nice and clean, so we're happy. So yeah, cruisy.
It's really important to find the mentality of the character you're playing. You have to go by the beliefs. You have to believe that whatever he's doing or she is doing, your character, yeah, they are right. They are on the right track because they are believing it. So it's really important to believe your character as well.
What do we do as well?
Steve Gordon, our gaffer, was unbelievable. He had to cart thundering great lights and generators from point to point, particularly in the day of the chase sequences in the tunnels. He had to drag all this gear all day long. He had to set up lights, not only on the chase, but in other situations. And never once did he complain, and he worked like a Trojan all day long.
At the moment, we're painting the tunnels around us, and it's meant to be in 2001 London. So the biggest challenge is transporting us from 2021 Australia into London 2001. So that's probably the hardest thing, but we're just adding some designs on the walls that will wash off because we're not graffitiing. But yeah, that's probably the hardest part. But other than that, we've got a great crew behind us and lots of preparation. So yeah, it's been really fun.
Well, it's fantastic.
Fantastic day. Lots of running, lots of sweating.
There's a cuts and bruises.
So keen to kill him.
Yeah, we're going to do two so hard.
I think just because I'm playing the character of Rafat Khan, I'm a Muslim myself, and what he's gone through I can resonate in my life as well. And I think playing the terrorist, I think it gives me an exposure of what their mindset could be like in terms of how they would actually think before they would actually go out of place and start killing people. It gives me a chance to be in their shoes and feel what they felt. But then as soon as I get out of the road, it makes me feel how inhuman their actions are, and makes me sick to my stomach. Gives me shivers down my spine, and yeah.
I'm not Pakistani, you retarded asshole! I'm Indian!
Just explaining about the cannon.
Yeah, the explosion.
When it goes boom, obviously you can't be facing it, otherwise it's going to scratch.
I think it has a lot of relevance to today's society, especially with what's going on in Afghanistan at the moment, and just like racial profiling in general. I think there's a lot that this little short film has to say about culture and society today.
It's a bit doom and gloom for my character, not the best ending, but I'm sure on a whole the movie will portray a lot of important issues, and I think that's the major message we're trying to achieve.
We just got to match what we did in the street, lighting wise, angle wise, in a very different location.
They're probably just looking at each other and it's just bang, you know?
Just relax and lose yourselves to it, and at the same time, after today you're going to have a hell of a story to tell people and just go, oh man, I was right in the mix of some special effects and it's going to be cool.
Yep.
So this is my first time on set as a production manager and producing, so it's exciting for me, and so it's definitely a new career for me, from coming from civil engineering and changing to film producing and being on set. It's far more exciting, and I've got a martial arts background, so action films are my thing and where I want to take my career, and super excited about what's next.
To be involved in this project now, this is my first time doing any like proper acting gig, and it's really, really exciting. Everyone that I've like spoken to, the director James, the crew, the cameras, the sound, everything, everyone knows what they're doing, and it's really exciting to be part of such like a energetic set. Everyone's ready to give it their all.
The light's going like that, which doesn't look like the sun. Good to go.
This location is going to be a hot set today, so in terms of continuity, we've got to all give Carolina some respect and not touch anything after PD has placed it.
It was exceptional because we had smoke in there, we had amazing lighting, we had a very dramatic scene where the boys are caught by the white thugs, and there's a sort of, it all culminates in this car yard.
So as Thug 1, I'm the leader of the pack. I'm really up front, I'm really leading, and when I have my other boys I feel really strong, and we've got all the manpower to deal with what we need to deal with.
These stunts were choreographed by Chris Bridgewater, who was fantastic.
Go through there, maintain the action as we've rehearsed, go through to that point. It's going to be safer for you.
Chris took these guys through their paces over several weeks. We had stunt rehearsals. Chris was incredibly patient, and from the actors knowing nothing about stunts whatsoever, in the end they were doing these amazing stunts themselves, and it was quite incredible.
Come out and play, my patty friends!
I actually get to kill one of the brothers, which I'm pretty excited about, and then I end up getting bashed, so I don't know, risk versus reward, I guess.
So then you're gonna come here, the camera's gonna move like that, and then you're looking.
I think just to be safe, if everyone can just be hidden from this angle here, so we can have freedom to pan around that way if we want. You're obviously right, Simon.
Yes, I think we get along really well, even the thugs and us. We get along really well, and the two brothers that I've got, Akshay and Dargo, I think I treat them like younger brothers at the moment, and they look after me. Since I've heard of money, they look after me. Do you need help? Do you need water? Do you need anything? I think we've got a beautiful relationship going on. Even the thugs, we muck around, and I think that's fantastic.
That's a wrap! Woo!
Sometimes in life you get really lucky, where you have all the right people in the right place at the right time with the right story. And this happened. And it happened over 4 days. Over 4 intense, challenging, difficult, and incredibly exciting days. And the end result, we are hoping, is going to be something very special that audiences will love and that people will come and see, and that leads us to our next level, our next stage, which will be the feature film.